Welcome to the Exploring New England podcast with Ryan Zipp, where each week I will be talking about what makes this historic region such an amazing place to enjoy. From the scenic views to road trip ideas to where to grab the best eats and much more. Let's get going. Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Exploring New England podcast with me, Ryan Zipp. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Today is the 4th, so we are coming out on the official holiday. Hope that you guys get to relax a bit today, have some fun with friends and family, and hope those vibes continue throughout the rest of the holiday weekend through Sunday. Let's see, last week I talked about the amazing hydrangea bloom this year, places that you can go check them out, and what I was going to be doing for them. So this past week, since we last met up, I got to a few different spots. So I figured I would talk a little bit about them, share some of that, and maybe keep it on the shorter side today. I don't know. I know everyone's pretty busy, so I hope you could find some time to listen in or watch this week. We met up last Thursday, so then on Friday, after I closed up at my store, I was all packed up with my gear and made my way to Watch Hill, Rhode Island. Probably about an hour and a half-ish it ended up being from Hamden, so not too bad. I always love going there for sunset from me in Guilford. If you hit no traffic, it's just about an hour flat, so not bad at all to get to a beautiful spot and an always great sunset composition there, however you want to frame it in that general area. But like the theme of everything the last few weeks, the hydrangea were my main target here, and there was plenty of them blooming right there in the main area down by the water, and also, in front of a number of houses and businesses as well. So I got there a few hours before sunset, so walked around and just kind of scoped out the flowers themselves and different compositions that thought could work, and also would work with the impending light going down and hopefully some color in the sky for sunset. I walked up the street a bit to where the Ocean House hotel and venue and everything is. Beautiful property in its own right, and they have some hydrangeas as well on it. But I had heard from a few people about a sort of celeb wedding that was going to be going on this past weekend, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was definitely quite the scene. They were setting up tons of tents, tables, everything else, so wasn't really able to get any shots from there. But the wedding was Christian McCaffrey, NFL running back, and Olivia Culpo. I think she's a model or actress of some sorts. Honestly, I don't know who she is. I know who he is. I'm a football fan, play a lot of fantasy football every year, so follow all that. He's one of the top guys in the league. So she's from Rhode Island. He's from out west, I think Colorado. So I heard she won out and wanted the wedding to be in Rhode Island. So I'm sure they had an amazing event there, and the surroundings couldn't have been any more perfect for him. So best of luck to the happy couple there. It was kind of funny. I was just walking around with my camera, and there was people definitely there just seeing if any kind of celebs or famous people were in there. And this woman with some kids came up to me and was like, "Can I take your picture?" And I'm like, "Okay, what's?" And then she asked how much money I got per celeb photo. She thought I was a paparazzi to try to be there getting, I guess, shots of whoever. I laughed and said, "I'm not that kind of photographer. I'm just a New Englander making my way around." So she laughed, but thought that was funny. And then made my way back down to the harbor area. Definitely had some potential for a good sunset. And the light still was really nice, but faded out. Didn't get anything too dramatic, but it's fun to play with the compositions there. The hydrangea were looking beautiful and full bloom, I would say, kind of like most other spots in New England at the moment. Um, Not really sure if they're gonna kind of end earlier this year since they did start earlier. I would assume so, but just another tip you know if you guys had thought about making your way anywhere for them this year, I just wouldn't wait. I'd get out there now because definitely on the early side and one of the better years in a while. A few people throughout 7 or 8 years, this is the best hydrangea bloom. I've been kind of chasing them since 2018, I believe. So, 6 years in, and definitely seems to be the best of that stretch anyway. So, hope you guys are able to get out and enjoy them, and maybe some of you have them, in your yards and gardens and neighborhoods and everything. So, it's been fun. Not after this, it's got a little bit of a bummer because we don't have another bloom to chase like I've been doing since the daffodils in April and till the sunflowers come out, but those are a bit later. So it's always great, a little bittersweet, and then shift focus to some other summer New England aspects. So yeah, was able to get some cool shots that night. I had never gotten any shots of them there at Watch Hill, even though I've been a number of times in all seasons. It just never lined up timing wise. So I was grateful to get some of those shots for the collection catalog, and was definitely worth the drive out. Wasn't sure at first because after working my place on Saturday, I was going to be heading to the Cape. So first I was like, do I want to, just add more driving on top of it? But it's kind of hard to say no to opportunities like that. So, but was grateful I went. So Watch Hill, I'm sure a lot of you have been, that general westerly Rhode Island area, not far over the border from Connecticut. Beautiful any time of year, but obviously now in summer is where it shines the best. So if you've never been, take a day trip out, and you may have heard too, Taylor Swift owns a house right over there as well. So yeah, there's a lot of action going on in a tiny little coastal town in Rhode Island. And then, the main event for the weekend was going to be heading to the Cape for the blooms and just whatever other southern summer vibes came about. And so I had planned on Saturday night to get up there, just around sunset. I was staying again in the South Yarmouth area, which is where I stayed back in May. Like that area a lot, and you're able to get some inns and resorts there by the water where wake up and you're looking at the ocean. You have sand right there. I had stayed at Ocean Mist, I believe, was the one I stayed in May, and got a really good rate because it was before the busy season. This was a last minute room in Ocean Club at Smuggler's Beach. So it was a decent price for something, again, last minute for a Saturday night. They're like more of those, they're like timeshare owned type things. So people do have them, and then obviously they get rented out to whoever else. But I liked it a lot there. Nice location. So headed up to Gray's Beach for sunset in case, but nothing came through there for the boardwalk. So it's only about less than 15-minute drive from up there down to South Yarmouth again. And then like the trip in May, I walked over on the beach to the Skipper restaurant and Chowder House. So kind of one of those spots that's been there forever. Ate there last time in May, and kitchen's open a little bit later, so good spot for those weekend nights. And yeah, went with fish and chips. So their fried stuff is definitely where it's at from what I've tasted and heard. So but then I'd be starting there in the morning, and there's a neighborhood there in that South Yarmouth area that I've really enjoyed kind of driving through, and also parking and walking around with my camera in a few different seasons and blooms. So I'd never gotten to it this time of year, so it was awesome to check it out. A few cool properties with some rose blooms, some hydrangeas as well. So that was kind of the start of my photo taking of the trip and started the day on Sunday. And weather report was kind of showing it was going to rain on and off all day, kept changing, and then looked like it was going to be ending for a bit at like 9. So didn't want to just be walking around anywhere. I figured I'd get some driving in. Decided to head up to Provincetown. So basically all the way up, to the tip. And there's a stretch of it. If you've been there, the street there, Commercial Street. If you've never been there, it's, the main street running through Provincetown, P-Town. Most people end up calling it, shortened it. But it's kind of, there's houses and hotels and shops and restaurants and bars and everything. There's a lot of action going on, and parts of it have a lot more going on than others. I just wanted to go shoot kind of at the end, where one end of it, there's a rotary there. There's kind of like a, rock jetty out a long way to a lighthouse there. You can walk at low tide. But there's also the kind of little plaque, like landmark there, where the Pilgrims actually landed first, I believe, before they got back on the boat and then went to Plymouth. And it was, the date said 1620, so over 400 years ago, which is pretty wild. So I enjoyed standing there for a minute, kind of taking in the fact of, that's like the start of our kind of New England U.S. history there in this part of the country, I guess. So cool to see that. And that's another reason I love New England so much is, compared to the rest of the world, it's still kind of a baby history. But here in America, it's obviously where we have, the oldest history. So it makes for interesting stories and buildings and all of the alike. But starting at that end on Commercial Street, where it starts, there's just a number of houses, cottages, few inns and stuff, but beautiful gardens there. And so I made sure to walk that a bit, and then turned around kind of where it gets more busy, just because I didn't have all day to spend there. I was kind of just squeezing it in, but was definitely glad I made it. There was a number of properties I had eyed in another season and hadn't gotten there quite during this time with the peak rose and hydrangea blooms. So if you're watching the YouTube channel, I'll be putting up some photos like usual of these scenes I'm talking about. I know a lot of you are just listening on the audio version, which I appreciate. So if you ever get a chance and want to check out the video version, you see this ginger bearded face and also some photos to go along with the stories and descriptions here. But it was it was about an hour drive up, so definitely worth it. Stopped and grabbed a coffee on the way, a little fuel, and then made my way back down. Went through Wellfleet, Orleans, just kind of see if any other scenes jumped out at me to pop out with the camera at. Then I got back to Chatham, which is where I would be staying for the night and kind of the focus of the trip. Staying again at the spot, the Surfside Inn. It's the fourth time I've stayed there now, and I really love it. It's right there off Shore Road. You can walk into town. You can walk the whole Shore Road down to the Chatham, pier area with the fish market, Chatham Bars Inn, and then the other way to the lighthouse. So it's nice. In comparison to other properties in the area this time of year, especially, much cheaper price tag, which is appreciated. And it's nice, super rustic, basic, but always been good. They have beach chairs and other supplies, if you need. And right down the side street it's on, there's like a beach entrance, and it's basically just for kind of the area there because there's no parking for it. So, but you have an awesome little beach spot again, and you're a walk to a lot of great things and a short drive to anything else. So checked in, reset, then kind of walked around to a number of the hydrangea spots right there on Shore Road, leading out to the Chatham Bars Inn, which I talked about, that has it's crazy the amount of property they own there, and then just the landscaping is unbelievable. And obviously they have plenty of hydrangea blooming as well as others. And walking down the road a little bit, I had seen the possibility of a storm rolling in, and came in pretty quick, and definitely started downpouring on me. Got really soaked, but it was a summer storm feels good. It was warm and felt nice, so camera stayed dry, which is important. So after that, had to run back to the hotel quick, change into some dry clothes. It was still raining a little bit, so went over and had dinner at that point. Went to Max Chatham Fish and Pier. Max is really good. It's called a restaurant group. I know they have a number of locations. They have one in P-Town, Wellfleet. That one has really good sushi. They have Max Shack as well in Wellfleet. That's out there like by the harbor. But yeah, everything I've had from them in all the spots has been really good. So kind of ends up being a go-to for me if there isn't somewhere else I want to try or get anything in particular. So went there, had a fried clam strip roll. Really good as well. Hit the spot. And actually all their fried food is just gluten-free as is. That's their default. So if you are can't have anything gluten, they have amazing menu and lots of great options. So that's Max, and they have a number MAC''S, not Max MAX, Max, possessive. So number of spots there in the Cape. So definitely look them up if you're looking for a restaurant to pop in. After the rain stopped, had some cool clouds, lighting got better, so hit up a number of different properties around Chatham again just to shoot, and saw there was some potential for a sunset. So knowing the direction of it, went over by the lighthouse there in Chatham. So kind of just hung out, and the opposite side is the beach there, where the lighthouse is, and that's an amazing view. There's like that shack. I forget the official name they call it anything, but made of like all driftwood and scraps, and have some flags flying, and people leave different things there. So it's just one of those cool little special things about this spot that make all these New England coastal things great. So but it was kind of a range of emotions. Like, thought it was going to be a killer sunset, then a few minutes later I was like, oh, it's not going to be anything. Then I had potential again, then I went down again, all within like less than 20 minutes from each other. But at the end of it, it still ended up being a very nice sunset. It just was more centered in the lower part of the sky. The upper part of the sky, the clouds there thinned out a little too early. So but then on the opposite side of the beach, there was actually a little bit of a rainbow, just beautiful reverse sky colors on the opposite side of the sunset itself, which sometimes can be as nice, if not nicer. So that ended up being a great way to end the day, even though I got poured on. So shot a bunch of flower scenes, had a great sunset, and then retired back to the hotel. Next morning was up decently early, walked around town again just to try to get some of those spots that either the rain kind of soaked me out of or just didn't have good lighting the day before. So it was nice to just do kind of one more loop around town there before I'd be checking out. Back in May, I talked about it on here, I stayed at a really nice resort in neighboring Harwich there from Chatham called the Weequassett. And I had seen photos of their hydrangea kind of blooms and display there. So wanted to go check it out. They have a great little coffee shop on property there called The Sill. So I figured after checkout would go over and, grab an iced mocha and then just walk around the property again and see what they, what the hydrangeas looked like. So snapped a few photos of those, enjoyed the views there, and then kind of started making the way back. Took a coastal route through like Harwich, Dennisport, Hyannis, Centerville, and all the way out to Falmouth in the corner there. Just always, any actual roads that you can cruise on and get the ocean view, I like to take those in before making my way back. And got to Falmouth and then kind of headed straight up and began the journey home. Traffic wasn't bad, luckily, and it was a great Cape visit weekend. I think back in 2018, that was like my first Cape visit with a camera, and one of my earlier like summer New England dedicated visits with the camera, and it was right at the end of June. So this was right around the same time, and I'll never forget that one, and definitely a great time to go because it is summer. You're getting the summer vibes, but it's just before things really let loose, and you get the 4th of July and full on summer blast there, I guess you can call it. So yeah, so it was a great week, and this coming weekend, the plan is to head to Newport for more summer vibes, maybe some fireworks from neighboring Jamestown. Gonna see what kind of perspective I could get there, and also the hydrangeas, just in Newport area. Also the mansions, Newport mansions have a number of blooms on several properties, so I'll be trying to check that out. And also making a stop in Mystic, doing something cool there, getting some content. So I'll talk more about that next week. Yeah, so I think that's it. I'll cut it off there. I hope you guys had a chance to listen today. If not, hopefully you're listening on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or whenever. I appreciate it. And again, have a safe, happy, exciting, relaxing 4th of July and accompanying weekend. Get out there, enjoy the fireworks, enjoy the flowers, enjoy the company of everybody else, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks a lot.